Hey everyone, John Hartley. Nothing in the mail today. Today I'm going to tell you a ghost story. Some of you may have watched a video earlier where I mentioned that the house that I own was built in 1795, and my great-great-grandfather bought it after the Civil War in 1869. So stuff like this I grew up with. It's been in the house since, well, I guess since 1869 or before. My grandfather was born in this house and he died in this house, and I'm the 5th generation owner. So I'm going to tell you a little ghost story that my grandfather told my brothers and I. And a little tour of the house. This is my den. Some of you saw Sal's video. I sent him some pictures of those notes, and he made a video on it. There's my arrowhead collection. The table is custom made. My daddy did that. It's got a drawer that pulls out. Yeah, Maxwell's going to go with us on the tour today. My daddy also made this secretary of black walnut. Those 2 books right there are part of a 3 book set titled Laws of the United States. It's been a long time since the laws of the United States were a 3-volume set, and as you can see, it was approved by the then president, George Washington. This set was owned by, I don't know if you can see that, Willis Hartley, who is my great-great-great-grandfather. I think it's 3 greats. Some 100-year-old sunglasses. My retirement weapon, Japanese bayonets my grandfather brought back from World War II. That's my dad and his shotgun shell collection, old shotgun shells and stuff. Up there is, if I can zoom in properly, that's my great-great-grandfather's sword and haversack that he carried in the Civil War. But I think part of it, at least the belt or belt buckle, may be a souvenir from the war battlefield or something, because it's a Union belt buckle, and he was definitely not a member of the Union. That small picture framed up there is the document my great-great-grandfather signed in 1865 when he returned back from the war. It's an oath of allegiance to the Union so that he could be an American citizen again. Well, the story, front hall's a little narrow, excuse me. The story goes, this is the dining room. I forgot to clean up some stuff, but the paintings in the house were done by a great aunt. Top 2 shelves are my great-great-grandmother's wedding china. Bottom 2 shelves are my china. But anyway, During the war, the family that lived here had a young girl who was 14 years old. And a rider or messenger came to the front door with a telegram stating that her fiance had been killed in battle. This is the parlor, piano and violin on top. The library. That secretary over there is the original piece that my father copied the secretary you just saw in my den. He made it for me before I retired and moved home, so I have two of these pieces now, one original and one a very nice copy. If you see some spider webs, I don't live in the front part of the house. I don't even heat it unless company's here. Set of 1800s stone building blocks. That's my great-grandmother. There's a picture of me and my brothers. That was taken last year. That was a joke. Maxwell, get out the way. Well, once the young girl got the news, there's Uncle Robert and Uncle George. Once the young girl got the news that her fiance had been killed in battle, she went upstairs and locked herself in her room. And after a while, one of the bedrooms upstairs, I love that old rocker. After a while, they came to this door and it was locked. And they couldn't get her to answer. So they sent a boy out onto the back roof to go open up the window and unlock the door, where they found that she had died of grief, which probably was a way of saying that she committed suicide. This is where the ghost story part begins. My brothers and I would be, curtain is in repair. My brothers and I would be downstairs in front of my grandfather, listening to the story, and he would continue. He would say every 14 years, she comes back looking for her lost jewels that the family never found. And then he would start knocking on his desk next to his chair. He said, and this is the 14th anniversary. And she's come back again, knocking on the floorboards, looking for her jewels. And then my grandfather would scream something like, and she can't find them. But we were all about the age of that picture you just saw, and it scared us to death. That was where the ghost story ended. But in the 70s, my grandfather, these fireplaces at the time were all gas logs in here. They've been turned back to wood burning fires. But my grandfather stepped on that brick in the hearth, and he found a piece of cloth, a handkerchief. And in the handkerchief was wrapped this old wallet. And in the wallet, there was more Confederate money. that had been hidden down under the hearth for all these years. Little piece of fractional currency here. $50 piece. And also in the wallet there's a Jefferson Davis stamp, Confederate stamp. I gotta look into see how much that's worth. And a lock of hair. Possibly from the girl's fiance who had died in battle. So in the mid-70s, the ghost story that my grandfather had told us so many times has a possibility of at least partial truth. Thanks for listening. I hope this turns out well. I know it's kind of weird walking around with this camera in my hand and not being able to zoom out enough to give you good angles, but hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'm 1042.